Hello, my beautiful people. It's Lena. I'm back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here we are. I'm back reviewing, and just like that, season one. As I said before, I took last weekend off, and I'm actually glad that I did. I needed a break from watching this crap of a show, so I got to see it, season one, episode 4 that I'm reviewing now, and I'm going to review episode 5 next. I needed the break. I started to watch it again, and I said, okay, I had a little bit more vigor going into this. It still sucked, so let's do this, people. Let's get through season 1 so we can get through some more shows and hopefully better shows. Though I'm not looking at anything that's any better right now, unfortunately, but I'm going to try to make it funny. So, let's go through the 3 ding dongs. I'm not going to do scene open because ding dong number 1, Carrie has a big opening scene that leads into everything else. So I'm going to go right into ding dong number 2, which is Charlotte. Oh boy. What can I say about Charlotte? I think that they have made her to be, I don't know what, stupid. So it starts off with Charlotte going into a coffee shop, and she's on her headset with her telephone, and she is ordering coffee, and as she's talking on the telephone where there's patrons next to her, she's talking very loudly on her phone, stating that she wants to make a colonoscopy appointment for her husband. Everybody in the nearby area hears her, and they look at her, and she's in shock. She says, oh my God, I think I said that very loud. Okay, here we go. Her purpose of getting coffee is because she's going to meet with Lisa and the other parents of the school. Lisa goes into another coffee shop with her 2 kids, her younger ones, and the younger girl wants a croissant in French, and Lisa orders her the croissant, and she orders 2 coffees. Charlotte orders 2 coffees. They both meet up in the middle outside of the school, and they're both screaming, oh my God, I ordered you a coffee. Oh my God, I ordered you a coffee too. Who talks like that? Who? Do you talk like that? I don't talk like that. They're speaking in a high-pitched voice that I swear to God, only dogs can hear them. I'm like, oh my God, stop. What is happening? The fakeness and unrealness of this whole scene and episode is ridiculous. The acting skills, I don't know who's directing this, is sucks. This is pretty much the downhill of this season, okay? I mean, it started off in the last episode, but it really takes a nosedive after this. Oh my God. So both Charlotte and Lisa are meeting up with the other parents, and they're talking about the field trip, which Charlotte coordinated with a botany group for the Botanic Gardens. And one of the other parents chimes in. I think her name is Deirdre, and I only know that because I've only seen this episode 100 times because I'm trying to put my creative juices into this episode because this was hard. Deirdre says, oh, well, I have a friend that can, I want to say, take the kids to a field trip to a petting zoo, and that they can pet the animals after the zoo. Then Charlotte chimes in saying this is very difficult for her to coordinate, to get the botanies to actually agree for the kids to come by, and blah, 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 and drop the ball. Literally, after 100 times, I heard Charlie Brown. Deirdre mistakenly thought that Charlotte hadn't updated the group about the field trip, and Lisa chimes in and says, no, she did, and Deirdre thought that the reason why that she needed to get an alternate plan is because Charlotte dropped the ball. The only reason why I'm bringing this up because this actually comes up again later on. And Lisa, laughingly, fakingly, this whole scene was ridiculous, says, oh, Deirdre, Charlotte honey never drops the ball. Check your email. The information's all there. Check your spam. Then they walk away, both Lisa and Charlotte, and they talk some small talk, saying, Charlotte says, oh my God, how do you deal with these people? And Lisa says, oh, I pretend that they're my documentary crew. So talking like an idiot to your crew is how you talk? I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. They both chit chat and speak in loud voices that only dogs can hear. And all of a sudden, Charlotte knows that she's invited to Lisa's husband's birthday. She's thanking her. Then Charlotte tells Lisa, I can't wait to have a party for you to meet my small group of friends. Lisa tells her, oh, what about Thursday? Charlotte is panicked because she made the colonoscopy appointment for her husband, because she's the secretary, on that same day. And she says, oh, no, it's not a problem. Please come. Great, wonderful, And Lisa's like, okay, thanks. Just remember, it's just us, so nothing fancy. Suddenly, Charlotte gets on the phone and she's canceling the colonoscopy appointment for her husband. And in comes the rest of Charlotte's arc. You're going to laugh at this because I actually found this actually funny, but not in a good way. Charlotte is in bed with her husband planning this impromptu dinner party with her and Lisa and a group of Charlotte's friends, which include, she rattles off the names. Carrie is for fashion. Miranda is for political. I forgot who else she said. And she starts to realize that all her friends are white. And that she can't have Lisa and her husband could be the only black couple in the group. So she starts freaking out, and Harry tells her, what about the neighbor downstairs? Apparently, I guess they're black. Why don't you invite them? And again, Charlotte, with her high-pitched, only dog voice, could hear, oh my God, that's amazing. Yes, we had such a wonderful brunch with them. And Harry's like, yeah, but that was 2 years ago. She goes, well, but we lost a year to COVID. I lost a year watching this. Next scene with Charlotte, she tells Harry she's going to text the neighbor downstairs because she's black. She wants to invite her to the party. Do we get a say in this at all? Anybody that's not white, or anybody who's white that's going to another party that's not white, do we get an option to say no? Obviously not. This is a thing now. Next day she goes downstairs to her neighbor, who she texted her several times, and the neighbor opens the door and says, hi Charlotte, yes, I got all 4 of your texts. And Charlotte pretends that she only sent one, that there's something wrong on her phone, because that's what happens with most phones. Most phones multiple text. I've never seen that ever happen. Unless you're butt dialing her. Maybe. Does that happen to your phone? Don't we all have better phones now? Isn't that like something like a BlackBerry that used to do that? I don't know. This seems like very odd. Charlotte is insisting that this girl has a beautiful sweater, and she's talking to her as if Charlotte is the fakest person in the world. She tells her, oh, yes, I got it. The neighbor says, oh, I can't come because I have a dinner that Thursday. And Charlotte's like, oh, but why don't you just pop in? Just pop in. And the neighbor is looking at her like, but I can't. And Charlotte's like, please, just come on by. And the neighbor's like, we can do it another time. And Charlotte's like, but we always say that. Why don't we just get her done? Just pop in and pop out. And you know what? Do me a favor. When you actually know that you're not going to come, text me. And by the way, that's a lovely sweater. 4 times. At this point, the neighbor's like, okay, you psycho bitch. And Charlotte says, where'd you get that sweater? She goes, J. Crew. And that was my attitude. It's like, shut up. The neighbor closes the door. And immediately after that, Charlotte gets the text from her, and apparently she answered her, I would say, I hope, stop, you crazy bitch, but I'm sure it meant no. I'm not going. So Charlotte is concerned. So the next day, she runs into Deirdre, the ball dropper, who claimed that she drops balls, Charlotte that is. And because she's black, she decides to invite her to this party, and she says, you and your husband, Jeff, I would love to invite you to my dinner party on Thursday. And Deidre's like, who's Jeff? I'm like, oh, what's happening here? She goes, your husband. She goes, no, it's pronounced Jeff. Okay. I believe her. I don't believe Charlotte. Charlotte says, oh, I meant you and Jeff. And Deidre's like, well, that sounds amazing. Let me just check in with Jeff. Freaking Jeff. She goes off to call her husband, and Lisa comes running out of the school because they're in front of the school again and says, oh, I'm sorry, I have to cancel for Thursday because my husband has tickets with my mother-in-law to the symphony and he didn't want to tell me until the day of because he knew I was going to get upset. Great. I saw Charlotte's face just light up and say, thank God, because I'm digging down the barrel here. I'm inviting people I don't even want to talk to. So Lisa walks away. Deirdre comes back. Charlotte tells her, oh, I'm sorry, I have to cancel because my husband has a colonoscopy on Friday. And Deirdre says, oh, you see, I told you you drop balls every once in a while. And Charlotte's like, you're absolutely right. Yes, I do, you freaking bitch. No, she didn't say that, but I know that's what she meant. Listen, do me a favor. If you ever invite me anywhere, whether you're black, white, Haitian, Hispanic, Japanese, Chinese, please don't worry about anybody else looking or being or even in my culture. I'm Puerto Rican. I really don't care. I am a New Yorker, born and raised, from the Bronx. I don't speak Spanish very well. I moved to Florida. I work in an office which is predominantly culturally diverse with the Spanish cultures, Venezuelans, Cubans, a lot of different other cultures, and a lot of them do speak a lot of Spanish. And they all know me. They all know where I'm from. The minute I opened my mouth, they knew I wasn't from Miami. And I don't care. You gotta like me for who I am, whether I speak your language or I don't. I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So I know this is a thing. I know people do feel self-conscious. I just thought it was very shocking that Charlotte was all about this. Like, what? It gets worse. Finally, it's the birthday party for Lisa's husband, where Charlotte and Harry are invited to, and they walk into the party and they notice that they're the only white couple in the entire group. Charlotte sees a lady sitting on a couch, and she says, oh my God, I know that woman. And she walks up to her and says, hi, whatever your name is. I haven't seen you since your kid left Dalton. And she's just going on and on. And the girl looks at her, she goes, I'm not that girl. I have no idea what this means. What were they trying to prove? That Charlotte has lost her mind? Or that all ethnically people look the same? I couldn't understand this whole thing. Like, the woman took it really well. She says, that's not me, but I know who you're talking about. And Charlotte's face looked like she was hit with a pan over her head. I'm like, where are they going with this girl? What's happening? Why are they doing this? So during the birthday party, Lisa's mother-in-law is trying to insult her because she thinks that she spends too much money on the beautiful paintings that are strewn around the entire apartment. Now that's a gallery. And Charlotte defends her because she used to work in a gallery, so she knows the value of all these beautiful paintings. And she tells her mother-in-law that she shouldn't worry because all the paintings that her daughter-in-law picked were absolutely priceless and phenomenal, and you should be happy. And Lisa looks at her as if she fell in love with her at that moment. Her husband gets up and says, thank you. That's it. No, that's not it. A couple of days later, they both meet for coffee and they sit down at a coffee shop. And Charlotte professes to Lisa that she was worried about the not dinner party she didn't have when she invited her and she canceled. That she would be worried because Lisa and her husband will be the only black people in their party. And she didn't want that to happen. So then Lisa says, that's funny because I was worried because you be the only white people in my party. Can we just stop this? Please? Stop. Please stop. I know people do this. I know people think like this, but I'm just putting it a public service announcement. Stop. Be culturally diversified. Enjoy everybody's culture. Just go. And that's it. That's all Charlotte's art. She's looking for black friends to join her white family and friends. Ding dong number 2. Miranda. We find Miranda, I guess the next day in her kitchen, and she's making coffee, and her son Brady and girlfriend in tow come downstairs to the kitchen, and they smell weed on her, and they make fun of her, and she gets upset because she tells them, I just hadn't showered yet. Really? Jesus Christ, woman. Can you take a shower before you make coffee? And her son says, it's okay now that it's legal. And she has to explain to them why she smells like weed, because she was at a party or a comedy show that Che was doing from the last episode, and there was a lot of alternate people there smoking weed. And the girlfriend, who calls her Miranda, and listen, my son's girlfriend calls me by my name. It doesn't bother me. I can't explain it. But this girl, calling her Miranda, pisses me off. I don't know why. I don't know what she should call her. Definitely not mom. I don't know. But I don't know why this girl pisses me off. Tells her, oh, alternate to what? What do you mean alternate? So Miranda says, I am not caffeinated enough to have this conversation. So then she goes to have dinner with the professor, because apparently now the professor and her are becoming BFFs. I guess this is where it starts. After she saved her from Chucky in the last episode, the professor asked her to go to dinner. They go to a restaurant where the professor made a reservation, and the person at the reservation desk keeps insisting that, I don't know where you made the reservation, but it's not here because I don't have it on my books. And they have this back and forth banter, and the reservation person tells them both, oh, I did find your reservation. You made it in our California location. I didn't see where this was going until they sat down. So she wasn't being a bitch, but she was being, I get what she was doing. She had the reservation in her phone, but that could be faked. So I understand where the reservation clerk was coming from as well. So after all the back and forth banter, he got him in. They sat down. They're having dinner. And suddenly we get the pseudo life story of the professor. She is on IVF. She has hormones, and she's trying to get pregnant. This is the second round, and yada 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 yada. And I'm just sitting there looking at her like, this is awfully personal to be saying to someone that, okay, maybe because she saved your life, I guess it's okay, and I guess this is how we bond now. But I can tell you from the friends that I have, it took me a long time to even open up to them. And that's just me. Believe it or not, I am more open on camera than I am in person. I like people to back it up. I ask the questions, I listen. I rarely give a lot of information about myself. It's just the personality I have. So there's nothing technically wrong with this. It was just they're going back and forth about motherhood, and the professor wants to know if it's all worth it because she didn't know Miranda was pregnant, had a child. She only knew this because she told her about the IVF, and Miranda told her, "Oh, I know that, I know about that," and she tells her that one of her good friends went through that, and that now but she has like an 18-year-old son, and all of a sudden the professor says that the first round when it didn't take, she was relieved. This is where it starts to become more clear to me, because I forgot about this, how this all happened, where the professor in season 2 was gilligging her ass off on Tinder. And her husband has now, or ex-husband, is now with another woman with a baby. Don't you think you should be telling your husband this? I'm just saying. I know it's not easy. I know it's not. But if you're the one going through all that and you're putting your body through that, should you be the one talking to your husband about this? But I know you need girlfriends. I'm okay with that. I just don't like them. I don't like this whole show. I don't believe in this friendship. I really don't give a furry rat's ass. And Miranda is telling her that she had a colleague, or she went to college, and one of her college mates is now a federal judge, I want to say, and she never got married and she never had kids. And then the professor says, "Oh, well," but she goes home to an empty home. So Miranda's like, "There are days that I wish I can come home to an empty home." I'm like, bitch, it's coming. Your wish will come true. Genie. I think that's a really messed up thing to say. Listen, I know it's hard, but when you put it out there in the universe, it's gonna come back to you. I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for. You sicko bitch. She tells her that, and then there's when I see my son, and then I think I'm happy. But then I see his dirty underwear on the kitchen floor, and then I'm upset again. First of all, let's go back to, why are your son's underwear on the kitchen floor? How old is his child? He's 18. Can we talk about this for a second? My son is 29. If he's 28, he'll kill me, but I'm going to say 9. Oh, coming on to 29. He just spent the weekend with me. He folded the towels, he made the bed, him and his girlfriend. Like, no. And even when he was 18, no. That is what you have a hamper for. What kind of kids are you raising? So they bonded over having and not having children, and you can't have it all. That's what the professor says, and Miranda says, you can, but it's hard. That's it. They're friends now. This will lead into Miranda being the homeless, fashionable person on her couch in season 2, because they bonded over, I don't know, Chucky? Ding dong number 3. Carrie. The opening scene to this show starts with Carrie. She, from the last episode, walked her way home, which is her old apartment. She's waking up to the sound of garbage trucks in her bed. She gets up and she decides that she is going to get dressed, and she was making coffee in her apartment. Now, she grabs the coffee maker that was obviously from the 1970s. This thing was, I don't even think she cleaned it. It was disgusting. I've never seen a coffee maker. I seen it in the 1970s. Seriously, it was that old. She starts to make the coffee. She starts going through her closet, and she's looking through her clothes, and all of a sudden the coffee maker is rattling off, and then she goes to the coffee maker and it's all breaking. All the coffee is coming out of the coffee coffer. I'm like, well, if you, A, don't cook, B, you haven't used that coffee machine since the 1970s, C, I'm sure whatever you did was wrong, because D, you don't cook. So that perpetuates her to get dressed and go down to the local, I'm going to say bodega, because that's what they really are in New York. And she walks in, and this wonderful guy around on the behind the counter, Mr. Camillus, and I feel that I should know this character because he knew her so intimately. But for the life of me, I don't remember where the hell this guy came from. She walks in and he's like, Caroline. And I'm like, who? Why is he calling her Caroline? I don't know why, but I feel like I should know this. And I didn't bother looking it up because I don't care. He says, oh, you got married, you moved away from the neighborhood, and how do you like married life? And Carrie proceeds to tell him that, well, her husband died, had a heart attack, unexpected. So my question is, are most heart attacks expected? So he gives her the coffee for free and gives her the roll. She walks back to her big apartment and she looks around, and there and behold, she's looking around, and then she sees the Peloton and she freaks out. Deaf to Peloton number 4. My God, please, if you have stock, get it out. Get it out, get it out, get it out, get it out, because this is like one of these things where the body was already dead and they just keep stabbing at it because they're just not sure if it's really dead, because this is the 3rd time in this actual episode that the Peloton comes back up. I'm like, oh my God. No wonder they fired that guy who ran Peloton, I think, and the stock tanked, because now they're really saying that he was killed by the Peloton. So she looks around and she goes to a restaurant with Ding Dong 1 and 2, and she tells them that she for a moment forgot that Big was not there and that she's made a decision. She made a decision to sell the apartment. And I say this because this is where our hell starts. So now Ding Dong 1 and 2 say, hey, HALT as an acronym. HALT is whenever you are in a bad situation that you should halt, which the acronym is, don't make any major decisions if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Great. Whoever took the time to find that acronym in this show, HALT. Could you have not done this show? Could you have used that and thought about what you were saying and doing in this damn show? Because if you used the HALT, you could have halted this whole disaster. She says, nope, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell the apartment. I found a realtor. Oh, next scene. Carrie's in her apartment waiting for the realtor. And in comes Seema. She gets out of her car, which her license plate says Seema NYC. You see her taking her foot out of the car and killing a cigarette. If only a car could run over her, I would be happy, but that doesn't happen. I'm sorry. It's not the actress at all. It's the character. And we're introduced to Seema. She's smoking a cigarette. She takes it, throws it out of her car. She hits it with her foot so it dies, and she goes upstairs and she meets Carrie for the first time. And she's walking through the apartment and she says, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Has so many colors. Look at the wallpaper. And Carrie's like, oh yes, my husband was not a fan of beige. If anybody remembers this, it's because his first wife, Natasha, made the entire apartment beige. So he refused to have a beige apartment. That's why they have all those beautiful eclectic wallpapers and colors. I actually thought it was very pretty. So Seema is walking around saying, that's beautiful, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. It's all got to go. Oh, wait. This is the best part. When she opens the door to Seema, she says, oh, Seema, such a beautiful name. And Seema says, yeah, it means no boundary. It means boundaries in Hindi, which is funny because I have none. That is the first time we hear her. I'm like, what are we doing here? What's going on? Who's this chick? So as she's walking around the apartment telling her how beautiful the apartment says, she says, oh, it's all gotta go. Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go. Out. Carrie's like, well, do I need to let it all out? She goes, yes, because people need to envision themselves here. But if you have all this personal stuff here, that people find it hard to see themselves here. That's true in real estate. They say that. That wasn't my problem. My problem comes in later. As Seema is insulting and giving her compliments and when I say insulting, she's telling her about all her beautiful stuff, but that's all got to go in a very cool and cruel manner. She walks into her closet and she realizes how beautiful the closet is. And Samantha tells her, Samantha, I'm never gonna let that girl go. Carrie tells her, please don't touch my shoes. That's the one thing that she can do anything else with the apartment with her movers, but she cannot touch her shoes. And Seema seems to agree with her. She understands because she has a bag fetish as Carrie has a foot fetish. So she tells Carrie that her movers are professional. They can move Picassos. So if they can move Picassos, they can move your stuff. I took that as an insult, but okay. So next scene, Carrie tells her that she needs to go downtown, so Seema offers her a ride. They get into the car together, and immediately Carrie smells cigarettes, and she asks Seema if she smokes. She says, not around people. So I'm just curious, if you're smoking in your car, and you have people that come into your car, did you think that it was not going to go away? Yuck. Carrie tells her that she used to smoke, and she asks her for a cigarette, and Carrie's not smoking again. To ex-smokers, when they ask you for a cigarette, don't do that. That's like an alcoholic or ex-alcoholic asking you for a drink. Don't do it. So now, Carrie's smoking. They go to a restaurant, and Seema, which I'm going to have to call Samantha 2.0 because I can't call her by name. Samantha 2.0 is talking to Carrie about all the dating apps that she's on because she's looking for a husband or a boyfriend or anything. And she asks Carrie if she knows anyone that's nice, even if he's a fixer-upper, that please introduce her because she can flip them. They're not a mattress. Flip into what? Okay. So she's showing her all the dating apps and she's going through her dating litany and bullshit. And Carrie says, so you've never been married? She goes, nope, never been married, never nothing. And Carrie tells her, well, that's great that you're still putting yourself out there. Now, the only reason why I remember this is because I kept watching this and because of the end of what happens with her and Seema. I saw Seema's face and she just gave her like, obviously it's a touchy subject for her when they say that. So they share food, and the next scene you have is Carrie going back to the apartment that Seema turned beige. All beige. Everything beige. Even the accessories were beige. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I understand that maybe buyers don't have vision, but my God, they're not colorblind either. Not even a throw had color on it. So Carrie got upset. She walks out. She grabs Big, Big in a box, and she puts Big in a box in one of her Barney bags, and she goes back to her other apartment. Can we stop with the Big in the box, please? She goes back to her other apartment and she puts Big's box up in her closet in a shelf and tells him, I'm only going to keep you here until I know where you want to be. Is he going to tell it to you through another plane? Are you seeing ghosts, Carrie? What's going on? What's happening? Next thing she knows, she opens a letter and it's from Stanford. Oh. So last episode was Stanford, Willie Garson's last part of the show. So you just see her reading through it. You really don't get to see much of it, at least unless you pause it. And then Anthony comes by and he sees Carrie smoking and he's like, what the hell? And I'm like, what the hell? You're smoking in your apartment now? This is what we're doing? And she tells him she says Stanford is in Japan. So apparently, we go back to the story arc. He didn't want to tell Carrie that he was leaving for his client, who's a 17-year-old TikTok star who's very popular in Japan, because he knew that how upset she would get after the fact that Big died. They had no clue what the hell to do with the story. Anthony is like, I don't understand this girl. I'm not Japanese and I'm not gay, and that Stanford wants to get a divorce, and he's very confused because he thought they were happy. When? When? You were practically clawing your eyes out every episode since here. So, that's it. You're in Stanford. Until further notice. Okay? Nothing. So, now, Carrie the next day goes to her open house that Samantha 2.0 is throwing, and here is where I learned how much I didn't like Samantha 2.0. She goes into her open house, there's nobody there. She asks Seema or Samantha or 2.0 how to go. There's some interest. I'm going to throw another one. And Samantha 2.0 proceeds to tell her, oh, I broke a picture that was on your bedside. The picture was of Big and Carrie at their wedding. And she said the glass broke, but the picture's intact, and that it could be, you can replace it. And Carrie goes off on her, she goes off on her. You can't replace the glass. This is the glass that he touched every night, and this glass is unreplaceable, and he's the love of my life. I'm like, is he? Do you remember season 2? Oh, I'm sorry, season 2 hadn't happened yet. So I was still on that he was the love of your life train. I'm off that train now. I'm taking the train down to, Buffalo. Bitch. And Seema is like, oh my God, I didn't mean to sound insensitive, and I didn't know. And Carrie is telling her, well, you don't seem to care because you're just sitting there and you're acting like this doesn't make a difference. And Seema tells her that, well, I guess I'm being insensitive now, like you were in the restaurant the other day. I'm like, what the frack is she talking about? She says, when you told me that you're so happy that I'm still putting myself out there on a dating app. So Carrie says, I didn't mean it in that way. I didn't take it that way. But I know some people have hot button issues. I know. I have certain things that people say to me, they don't realize they're saying it to me. Seema tells her, it might be true. I might not envy you, because at least you had found the love of your life that you spent many years, happy years with. And I haven't. Carrie says, I get it. Do you? Did you hear what she just said? She has no sympathy for you. If anyone, friend or foe, new or old, came to me and told me that by just the word of saying, I don't envy you because my husband died, is the same as if you're not finding a husband at all, it's exactly the same, I will punch that bitch up and down that freaking beige apartment and be like, get out. None of the two makes sense. You haven't found the love of your life. That's your choice. That's your problem. I really don't give a furry rat's ass. But to tell a grieving widow anything remotely like that, I would have gone all Bronx on her ass. And Carrie, like the stupid bitch that she is, yeah, I get it. Do you want to share my sushi with me? And it ends. She says, and just like that, we started a real friendship. No, you didn't. You started an abusive relationship. Because any friend of mine that even remotely, or anyone I know, come up to me and try to compare my feelings, unless your husband or your ex-boyfriend or whatever is dead to, don't talk to me. Ooh, this pissed me off. I realized at that moment, I said, that's why I don't like you. Again, not the actress. These are the lines that were given to her. So I'm going to say the showrunner, Michael Patrick King. You're an idiot. Not the same. And to think that that's going to be a friendship, I'm going to give you the finger. Okay? Stupid. Ooh, I'm getting riled up just talking about it because that really just set me off. I was just like, where do you get the nerve? You freaking stupid showrunners. My agitation is going to start coming out in the next episode, so I want you to go get ready because it's coming. More is coming. So, thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for checking out my video yesterday that was completely different than this. This was my get ready with me, see me without makeup, talking about some things that were very disturbing to me that I see happening to, A-listers. They call themselves that. But I cannot thank you all for all the comments, the likes, the shares, the emails. I'm going to say it every video. It makes me happy. I hope I made you laugh. I hope you found this funny. And if you did get agitated, welcome to the club. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Did you remember it? Did you watch it? Did it piss you off like it pissed me off? If it did or didn't, just have a wonderful chat with me. I look forward to it. Next film I'm going to do right now is episode 5, where Miranda gets the finger.